It's easier to keep her head down. She looks at you strange when you say this hoe.
You are watching the Rebel Scum podcast right here on YouTube. This is F105 singing to you some Rebel Girl off the bat. I'm James Rosile. Joining me tonight on this Friday evening is Brock Smink. Do you like how I said your name, Brock?
I do. I feel like there was 7 R's in there.
There was several R's. I don't know if there was 7. Brock.
Was there was that an O or was that an A?
It's a great question. Let's put us on camera so everybody can see us. Oh! Brock, you're blurry. I don't know. You've been drinking. It's Friday night. You've had several waters.
Did you think I froze?
You're froze.
No.
You're frozen on my end, but we can hear you, which is nice news anyway.
Oh, okay. So I was frozen for no one.
You're frozen for no one. We got the chats going on. 4-Leaf Clovers here. Mr. Rez, Liz C, Jericho Kane, Lauren, Dale, Rural Farm Boys here. Start up. Here we go. Give us a like and a subscribe if you don't mind. If you do mind, then don't, I guess. This is like
never mind. Oh,
never mind. This was an impromptu live stream tonight. This was kind of like, ooh, we should go live. Yes, let's go live. We're live tonight. Lots going on with Star Wars and Star Wars Land. Brock, you don't go on Twitter very often, do you?
No, I am an Insta fool. Insta ho, I guess. I'll say I'm an Insta ho. I'm proud of my body. No, I like Instagram also because if you post on Instagram, it links to your Facebook and your Twitter. So why would I go? But no, I ignore Twitter like the plague.
You do, and sometimes I think that's clever. But all of our friends here in the chat are Twitter followers and Twitter friends. So this is a safe place for all of them. I got a hat that's really in my way right now. It's my 3PO hat. Whew. You can't see me, but I just tossed it. Everybody else can right now. Autumn Joy's here. Heel is here. Everybody's here. I can't read. My screen's too far. Yeah, I usually have Andrew read the chat, Brock. That's my go-to because I'm blind. So I just kind of, everybody's saying hi. It's a nice group here, guys. Jericho's here. Jericho did a walkthrough of the first half hour of Jedi Fallen Order on RSBN Detours. You should go check that out. But Brock, let's just get right into this because it's Friday night. You have your WGR.
Yes.
Wonderful girlfriend Reham. She's probably waiting for you. Or not.
No, I already saw her.
You already saw her, okay.
We went to the mall from 3 to 5 and we're like, the sun has gone down, we need to go home.
We got an early bird special at the restaurant and we're all good to go.
If only, early bird specials at restaurants are always just glorious.
Oh, they're fantastic. I wouldn't know. I go for the happy hour. Is my go-to. But let's get right into it because I'm sure you have plans with your WRD, your wonderful roommate Daryl, or your WRJ.
There's nothing wonderful about Daryl.
That's true. I just spent half an hour talking to him on the phone. I'm like, I'm trying to eat dinner. He goes, well, I won't keep you. And then it was a half hour, and I scarfed it down before we got here. But let's go right into it. Have you seen this? So the Trevorrow thing is real, apparently. First of all, did you know that?
That he got fired?
No. That the Duel of the Fates script seems to be his, and then all of this art of stuff was his as well. I just think it's good to know that it's legit, like one way or another, right? It's out there, and it's like, okay, well, that was a thing.
And as much as I tried to avoid it, I did read what happens, and I'm like, that's pretty sweet. I like that, but I still stand to it didn't get made, therefore it is irrelevant. So, but big ups. I wish they make this a positive and hey, Colin, do you want to make a Star Wars movie? Because people seem to like what you had. So
this is the thing that scares me though, and why I really want to do this is so when I read that rundown, the notes of the script, I guess, and when I heard the thing, it's like, yeah, it sounds cool, right? Like, I'm all for going back to Coruscant, Mustafar, all of that stuff. But that, like, it doesn't mean it's going to work in the movie, and it doesn't mean that would be a good movie. And the other thing that has to be taken into account here is he was let go. Something came up that nixed that whole thing. I don't know what it was. Now, do I think that the whole and I'll say this, I think we all kind of were hoping for a little bit more prequel recognition in the sequel trilogy. Obviously, you can't have that in the originals, but in the sequels, it would have been nice to have some callbacks, like Coruscant, like the Coruscant artwork that we saw is fantastic. Callback to that kind of stuff is great, and I do think that might be one of the slights to it. But I don't. He was let go for. There's a reason for it. You know what I mean, Brock?
I don't know exactly what you mean. Money.
I think first of all, his attitude apparently is one thing, but then he keeps making these Jurassic Park movies with Frank Marshall, who is married to Kathleen Kennedy. So, I mean, one of them clearly has a good working relationship with Colin Trevorrow. The other one doesn't. But it seems like this Carrie Fisher passing played a huge part in that, because she is pretty prominent in that script.
Yeah. You know, I can't even remember what the Leia stuff was, so I can't even comment on that. But you know what?
It was so long ago. But we got the movie that we got, right? That's the thing. Yeah. We got the movie that we got, and I think, and I will say this: it's fun to discuss what we heard about the Trevorrow. That the artwork is phenomenal. Obviously, any of those art of books are phenomenal, but all of that is another timeline. We didn't get that. We got what we got, and I think we should celebrate and accept what we got.
Yeah. Take it and run. That art book is gonna be great.
Have you seen the leaks from that?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, it looks great. And
there was like one I saw today where it looks like R2 got blown up or something like that. C-3PO was like, whatever. He's like, he's not dead. He got wounded or whatever. I'm like, he's a robot. Yeah,
that was R2D2. Which I was really thinking, did he go for my R2 ending where R2 just perishes? And but no. I don't think anybody would have been dumb enough to kill R2 off. They have early bird specials in Detroit, Brock. Just if you want to go for a road trip, we can go see it. Yeah. Go see a Lions game.
There's nothing better than listening to these fools while you play Battlefront 2 on your PS4, Xbox.
What fools? What?
No, I'm just reading something I'm looking at the comments.
Oh, you're in the chat.
Yeah, I'm not in the chat. I guess we're all kind of in the chat.
The happy hours in Detroit. Well, happy hour and early bird is different, right? I don't really know. I just go where the deals are.
Oh, Four Leaf Clovers is Lucasfilm listening to our reactions in order to test the waters moving forward. That is not a bad idea. Like, I think we've said this. We've talked about this before. It's like all these leaks. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes I think it's more controlled than we actually know.
You've said that in the past, yes.
Yeah.
I get worried though, because as much as you appreciate them caring about the fan base, you look at Sonic the Hedgehog, which looks like that was the right decision to be made. But then, like I've mentioned in the past, Ninja Turtles, when they did it for Ninja Turtles with Shredder, it kind of, you could tell that they half-heartedly threw the extra Shredder character in there when clearly William Fichtner was supposed to play the Shredder in that movie. Yeah. And I just think it's great to listen to your fan base, but don't react to the fan base. No. So if they're like, we don't know what our next movie is going to be, and everybody is talking about Old Republic, then they're like, maybe we should do an Old Republic movie. Once they make that decision, don't come back to us. Let us lay maybe your groundwork for you, but we're not laying bricks. You're hiring professionals who have studied that craft for a long time to do that. We're just loud noises. And especially the Star Wars fandom, this hand wants, one thing, this hand wants the other, they're not going to get along ever, and you're not going to please everybody. So if you just stick to your guns, do what you want to do, maybe, you'll get through to people that way.
Yeah. I mean, why are you making movies if you don't want to make your idea? Like, obviously it is a business, and you have to like engage some way if you want to keep making movies, but like, at what point do you give in? And I don't know. This is
it's tough because it's such like, I mean, in the history of movies, it's never been like this where fans can watch a movie, go online, and immediately react and voice their displeasure or their pleasure. You know what I mean? Like, it's a brand new era for everybody. Everybody's kind of trying to figure it out. Yeah. No one has figured it out yet. That's clear, obviously. Because I just think that if you're going to make a movie, let's say, like, this is the other thing is people love this Trevorrow script and they love everything that's going on, but are you paying attention to the fact that Kylo Ren never becomes Ben Solo again? That Kylo Ren just dies? That he gets mangled? Like, you don't get that redemption arc. So are you willing for this? And it's cool that Luke Force Ghost Luke is around. I think, we were all kind of hoping for that. It's cool that he's around, but at the same time, you're not going to get other aspects that we got. And I think one of the things that always kind of drives me nuts with movies is if you go see a movie and you're like, oh, that was disappointing, that's fine. If you go and you're like, I didn't like that, or if you liked it, if you didn't like it, whatever, that's fine. But when you go in and when you leave, you're like, oh, they should have done X. That's what's like, but that's not the story that they were doing. And that's when there's this weird line of, well, is it what you want, or is it you just didn't like what was presented to you?
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that in relation to Star Wars this week because I just watched Brightburn.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It's interesting, especially if you're a big Superman fan, because that's the whole premise. Is like, what if Superman went crazy? And that's not a spoiler. That's just how they sold it. But it's like, at one point I was like, I don't know if I like this movie, but then the next day, it's very great. I guess it's a horror film. It's kind of graphic at parts, but like, it's a kind of interesting movie because it's you either really like it or, I don't know. When I finished watching it, I was like, I don't really know if I like that. And then the next day I was like, that was a pretty crazy movie. Like, I don't know if I'd watch it again, but like I can value what it was. And it's kind of trying a new idea, which is the whole point I'm trying to bring up here. It's like, they made this idea. It's like, oh, what if this happened? It's like, that's cool. We did it. Hooray. Like, and it's like, I would rather have a movie that's a new idea that maybe I don't like than just the same old pushed out drivel. And in the world where we're living, where we could get a Star Wars movie every year if they really wanted to, and we already exist in a Marvel world where we did get a movie for every year, there's got to be a point where you're like, you pump the brakes, maybe. So,
you know what the difference is? What you just said, though, is we live in a world where we could get a Star Wars movie every year.
Yeah.
The difference right there is Marvel fans and Star Wars fans, and one of those fan bases is appreciative of what's been thrown in front of them. Whether it's Thor: The Dark World or The Winter Soldier, they go in and they're like, I loved it. But for some reason with Star Wars, if they feel like there was a stumble, it's like, blah! They throw their tables out, they smash the windows. Kathleen Kennedy should be fired because she's useless and whatever, right? Like, there's always like, it's just so strange to me that Marvel could come out with a movie, 2-3 movies a year. Everyone goes, they all make over $400 million or whatever, right? Like, at least one of them's not that great. No one really, it's like, meh. Star Wars, though. Oh, Luke Skywalker was mad and he wanted to kill Ben Solo. Great. Did you watch the movie? Because at the end of the movie, it's kind of like, that was a muck up. Like, you know what? That hero that you saw can make a mistake. That's, but that's the difference right there. Is we could have had it, but there are too many crybabies that kind of ruined that for us. Now, we're waiting 3 years, which is fine because, again, figure it out. Give me the movie that you want to give me, and let's go 3 years from now. Give me the right movie. Look, I'm not going to lie to you right now. I was saying this to Andrew was going to join us today, but he can't yet.
Good.
He forgot he had plans. He forgot. That's Andrew.
You forgot yet.
He called me at like 6. He goes, "Oh, I forgot. I have plans tonight. Tomorrow night I'm free." I'm like, "Well, you do what you want to do." Someone just said enchiladas, and Erin made homemade tacos tonight. Like she made the shells and everything. Fantastic. I was so good. So she's gonna make enchiladas. I love it. Her enchiladas are delicious.
They're talking about enchiladas on the thingamajig. Is that why you brought
That's
it
why I
up?
brought it. Yeah, I look at the chat every once in a while. 4-leaf clover. Because Detroit, Brock, I don't know if you know this, has amazing Mexican food. Like just amazing Mexican food.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like.
Little Caesars.
What?
Little Caesars, man.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
I would love to have Little Caesars in Detroit, just to see if it's any bit better. Like,
Well,
not that it's terrible here, but
Is
it's
it-
Detroit, baby.
There's a few Detroiters. I don't know what you call them. Home Improvements. Tim Allen's.
No, I think it's Detroiters. There's a show called Detroiters.
Oh, Detroiters. Yeah, they're in there right now. Lauren, who will be joining us on Monday's live stream. Spoilers. She's from Detroit. Galactic Podcast. Check them out. We need to appreciate what we get, regardless. So it's like I wasn't a huge fan of all of the. Sorry, 1 second. Of all of the just moving my microphone. Of all the comic books that we got of Star Wars, I was like, I love Darth Maul, but I didn't find that Darth Maul run to be the best.
No.
Personal opinion. You agree, but maybe there's somebody in the chat right now that's like, "Oh, I love that run." I don't care. That's great. Like, fantastic. I fine. But for me, I wasn't the craziest about it. I just kind of stopped with it. But I didn't. But I didn't make it a mission to tell everybody that I thought it was complete crap and how whoever wrote that ruined my childhood and Darth Maul in general. It's like you take it. You're like, okay, well, that's whatever. What's next? And now you get imagine if we all went to social media to bitch and moan about those comic books. We might not get this Rise of Kylo Ren comic right now.
Yeah, I mean, the next issue to come out. But yeah, no, I feel the same about like the comics. Like it's like the Poe Dameron series is great because it just added just a little bit, but then it might have been a little bit better if it came out now because the series is done, so they could show a little bit more, I suppose, or delve more into the character. But it's still good. They're doing great stuff with the ongoing Star Wars, which just finished. So the after Empire Strikes Back stuff is gonna be really fun. But yeah, if you're not reading Rise of Kylo Ren, you don't have to go to a comic store. You can just buy it online through Google or. I don't know what Apple does with books, but like you can get at it and you have to read it. At least issue 2. It's fantastic.
Oh, it's so good. Thank you for giving me your code. And by the way, I wasn't saying if you didn't like the Luke stuff, like I'm not saying you're allowed not to like things. Like we all have our opinions or whatever. I'm just like you don't have to just come on and tell somebody that they should be fired or send death threats to Rian Johnson or J.J. Abrams because like imagine if you went to work one day. And you did your job and you left and somebody was like, "Oh, he sucked today. He really sucked." And then you start getting death threats. Like,
I don't like the way he wore his shirt today.
Yeah. Like it to me it's like we don't deserve Star Wars. I don't think we deserve Baby Yoda. I'll tell you that. I don't think as a fandom we deserve Baby Yoda right now.
Chalky milk, James. Chalky milk.
But the episode 152 though, top 5 Baby Yoda memes. That's our top 5 for next week's episode. Can't wait.
Yeah. But what is the big story this week, James?
The big story is I made it through another work week without getting fired. Oh, in Star Wars. Obi Wan Kenobi, the series. So I gotta say, I'll say one thing about social media that I love. Collider, I think, first reported this after the initial reports last weekend. So anyway, last weekend there was a report that Ewan McGregor like walked off the set, which there's no set because they don't start shooting until June. But he walked off the set. So right away I see that Josh over at the Den of Nerds has a video on this, and I was just like, I have to talk to him because this whole thing sounds like bogus to me. So I did talk to him, and he told me what he heard. And on Rebels Come Detours, there's a little 1-minute video or something on how the rumor that he was hearing through making Star Wars was that the Obi Wan Kenobi series was not in trouble necessarily, but they were thinking about converting it into a motion picture. I think they're really hot on getting Deborah Chow to direct a Star Wars film, and I don't think they have the 2022 film figured out yet.
But like, okay, I get it. Like, if they want her to be the director of it, but like, that kind of doesn't make sense to me. Like, you already decided to do one project, like, do it. Like it.
Yes. So anyway, who knows about that, right? So that might be the plan. It might not be the plan. Then this Taika Waititi thing came out. Who the heck knows? Like I said, I'm so over these announcements because but in fairness, none of this was announced. Hollywood Reporter put a story out, and they're pretty legit. But then obviously this week, everyone's favorite Collider. Hashtag deepfake Collider tweeted that they're hearing that the Obi Wan Kenobi series was like, paraphrasing here, but the Obi Wan Kenobi series is on definite hiatus or shut down or some nonsense, and the crew was sent home. First of all, there's no real crew because they don't start until the summer. And then apparently the script was all bad, and this allowed this amazing fandom of ours once again to trash Kathleen Kennedy because everyone okay. This is how I look at it, Brock, especially whenever I would make like one of my little short crappy films. This is how I always looked at it. If it was great, we all did it, but when it was sucked, it was me, right? Like, Kathleen Kennedy deserves the praise for The Mandalorian, because if she's getting crapped on for everything else, she should get praise for Baby Yoda. Jon Favreau created Baby Yoda? I don't care. If you're gonna say that she ruined Luke Skywalker, then she's the one that created Baby Yoda. That's how it should be. Fair is fair. She handles Star Wars. So when it fails, it's Kathleen Kennedy, and when it succeeds, it's Kathleen Kennedy, at least for now. But anyway, so that allowed that crap storm to happen. And then Ewan McGregor, God bless him. Variety, I think it was Variety or Vanity Fair was like, hey, so what's up? And he's like, I thought the scripts were really good, but they want to make them better. He went to Entertainment Tonight. They're like, what's up? And he was like, well, I like the scripts, but they want to make them better. We're not shooting in June anymore. We are shooting in next year. But the release date, he did say this. He said the release date he doesn't believe will change.
Yeah.
We've never been told a release date.
No.
So, cool? I guess. I don't know. But we haven't been told a release date. So anyway, it's being pushed because apparently the other rumor is, and this one, I don't have a source for this. Apparently, the scripts were too similar to The Mandalorian.
Oh, but I thought that was sort of a good thing.
Well, that's the thing. You would think that, but maybe
enjoyable. I took it as like it's enjoyable, like The Mandalorian.
Oh, see, the way that maybe we read different articles with different printings, because what I read was they thought it was too, like it was the Baby Yoda, Luke and Baby Yoda were too similar or something. I think. That's how I read it, but again, I don't really have a source because you're kind of checking your phone when I'm walking and whatever, and
yeah.
But I thought that was kind of interesting because, I feel like this Obi Wan Kenobi script was based off of a movie script which would predate The Mandalorian, and I do think it's just a coincidence, and maybe they broke it up, and then they're like, oh, you know what, this is actually very similar to what we just did. But so I don't know. I'm still optimistic about this movie though.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Like here's how I look at it in general. Do we need an Obi-Wan series or movie?
Yes.
No, we don't. We really don't. Do I want it to happen? Of course. I want all the Star Wars. Like, of course I want it to happen. But like, it's not the end of the world if it doesn't. But like. They have a streaming service. They need to create content, and it's kind of good if they don't want to make it too much like The Mandalorian, because you don't want to churn out the same old kind of story over and over again. But when I initially read this story, the fact that this basically got leaked by what sounds like a disgruntled crew member, like, I don't work in the film business, but I'm around enough people that do all this stuff that I'm like, some fat guy. And I'm not body shaming anyone, but it's always some like sourpuss old guy, fat and usually overweight, or just some like impatient millennial. And I'm a millennial, so that it's always someone that's just like, oh, I'm having a bad day. I'm like, relax, man. Like, it's Star Wars. And I'm sure if they have you, they'll call you back for the next one. So, like, to hear that, they're like, oh, they sent us home. Like, I just immediately shut down because they don't represent the companies. Like, for all we know, it's a PA that's not doing what they want to do or whatever. And I don't like those kind of people calling the shots on this. So I started reading it that way, and I'm like, like this is what I don't like, because us like looking into this too in depth to the point that like Ewan McGregor is getting hounded at a Birds of Prey interview, I believe.
Yeah.
About this, he's like, this is how you scare away your actors and your directors, because they don't want to listen to this BS. It's like, we're gonna make the movie.
What I hated the most about the first one was somebody just mentioned Anthony Bresnikan from on the chat, who's at Vanity Fair, and he spent last weekend chasing down this story because some BS website made up some crap. That annoys me too. It's like now you're getting people with legit jobs working hard, talking to people who are like, what? No, like just wasting everybody's time. Like, he probably could have been digging up another story, a way more interesting story about, who knows, like The Mandalorian 2 or something like that. Instead, he's wasting his time trying to figure out if the Obi-Wan thing is happening. Like, what is happening with the world where it's like this entitlement that we all feel that we have. This elite, like, I didn't like The Rise of Skywalker, so Obi Wan Kenobi series, I heard it from a source, and the source was probably like, yeah, no, they're taking their time. It's like, oh, they ruined it.
What? Like, it doesn't make sense. It's like, how do you maybe not like Rise of Skywalker, but like The Mandalorian, and then be like, oh, I have no faith because they're gonna go rewrite some scripts to make it better. Like, what? Are you not listening?
And this is the one thing that pisses me off, is they always do rewrites and reshoots and stuff. And for some reason now it's like we really, like, this news that just happened, we should not even have heard about. Or this shouldn't have come out. It just should have been a nothing. It should have been like, they're working on the scripts. We don't know. We're oblivious to that. And then they're like, oh yeah, we're not shooting in June anymore. We're shooting in January because we wanted to take our time and we changed a couple of things and locations. Which, by the way, that Mandalorian story on Slash Flip Film where they showed the locations for Mandalorian, which is like nothing, was awesome. Shout out. That was pretty cool.
It's all fake.
Whoa, Brock.
Yeah.
Hold on. I can't read the whole name, but Heat00 just says Obi-Wan is the best movie Jedi.
I saw that.
Okay, wait. We have to just side Akbar right here. Chat has to get into this too. Agree or disagree?
You know, if we didn't have the prequels, I would disagree. But like, Ewan McGregor just brought that character to a new level. I think that's why everyone's excited about this show. To see him possibly do it again would be awesome. So I agree. Yeah, like he's definitely, yeah. Oh no, I'm gonna take a stance. I'm not gonna full Brock this one. I'm gonna go, yes, I fully agree. More Obi-Wan, please.
Yeah, this is the way I feel too. Is I think I'll agree as well. I think I will. He's not my favorite character, for whatever the hell that's worth. Like, that's worth nothing. But yeah, movie Jedi. I think from start to finish, I'll say yes. I will agree with that. And
the Duel of the Fates is arguably one of the best fight scenes in all Star Wars.
Well, look at yeah, absolutely. And look, he's getting the love. Ewan made Obi-Wan. Yeah, everybody's agreeing. So well played there, Heat. But yeah, I think he was great in that role, and he like, Alec Guinness is phenomenal as Obi-Wan. Obviously, he was nominated for an Oscar. But Ewan McGregor kind of did his thing, and there's the same character, and it was a unique experience having that two actors playing the same character.
Yeah.
Very, very De Niro in Godfather 2, but not at the same time. But very good. I do love Ewan McGregor. And my thing with the Obi Wan Kenobi show is the same as I look at Rogue One and The Mandalorian. Is these are our EUs now. Books are great, but live action TV shows is such a new great opportunity to take this series and the franchise, and because people aren't reading as much, I think that's that's just how it is.
I mean,
and we have,
I don't if I read this on the internet or if you said it to me, James, they were like, obviously assuming where most of it'll take place on Tatooine, this Obi-Wan show, but then someone somewhere I read was like, oh, and he might go and have to watch over Leia as well, and I'm like, that's genius, because like that is how you see Alderaan for the first time, and you're like, you can get what's his face back, who plays Bail,
Jimmy Smits.
I was gonna say Jimmy Smith. Who am I confusing him with?
Benjamin Bratt.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
But like, I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that, right? Because you've attached Obi-Wan to Luke for so long that you're like, oh. But yeah, what were we talking about?
You know, I do. Jeff Wilson's on there. He's like, no matter what you think of the prequel trilogy, Ewan rocked that role and added so much to the saga. Completely agree. You know what? I said this too on the last. Okay, you know what? I'm a fanboy for Attack of the Clones. Sue me. But I do think that the prequel trilogy, and we're going to see it with the 7th season of Clone Wars coming up, it did so much for the saga. Much for the saga owes a ton to the prequel trilogy. And no matter what you say, you can't deny it of that at all. But I do want to point this out. We were talking about the websites that were doing this and that. And, these hate Star Wars, things like that. Well, what we need to all do, and I'm doing this with a certain magazine that starts with 4 and ends with BS. It is. We need to start ignoring, like, the negative nonsense. Because if you start ignoring it, it kind of dies off. Like Burgermeister Burger from when Santa Claus is coming to town. Just starts dying off. So when you start like retweeting and commenting on the negative stuff, you're just throwing more attention to it. But if you kind of just like, that is dumb, and just forget it and don't even acknowledge it, then it goes away. You don't have to worry. And I think, and that's the best way, I think, to deal with the negative side of the fandom. Again, you don't have to come and be like, I loved every second of The Rise of Skywalker. No, you don't have to ever do that, because just be honest about it. But when somebody comes up and they just start attacking, for the sake of attacking, then you kind of got to just put that aside. That's how I feel about it, because look, a very popular YouTuber said some really stupid stuff the other day. But a very popular character, and it was shared all over. And I was like, well, just stop sharing this, because now those views are going through the roof. He's making a killing off of that video. He doesn't care if you like it or not. So I think sometimes we just need to take a breath and be like, maybe we should just start acknowledging what we like, the positive side of things.
Yeah. I like. I was gonna start singing. These are a few of my favorite things, but I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember the lyrics. But yeah, I mean, Star Wars. It's wonderful. It's so great. Like, I actually was talking to someone today about The Mandalorian. I'm like, I think I could just rewatch it in half a day. I'm like, I should do that, and I might. I have a lot of time this weekend. I might just do that. Oh, I didn't tell you this, James. I did VR at the local Mississauga Mall, and it was Star Wars based last night. It was the best.
Really? They have that at my mall.
Yeah.
For real. And there's this giant stormtrooper outside.
Is there the one where you can put? It's like you walk around. You're not tethered in one spot.
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure both of them have it, but like this is one.
I'm sure yours is better than mine. You live in a more high-end area.
Yeah, Mississauga. But it was great. If you're in town, because it's pricey, and it's only like 15-20 minutes, but it's kind of cool if you're in the mall and you're like, hey, let's do VR, and it was great. It's like placed in Rogue One era, because like Cassian gives you this mission, you're rebels in stormtrooper costumes, and then K2SO like walks you around. It is great. So right there. Star Wars, amazing VR. That's the thing to be positive about.
I want to check it out. If it's the same one, I definitely want to check it. I have the Jedi Challenges AR here.
Oh yeah.
You know me. I love the VR AR. I'm all in. I'm all in on that. I can't afford it, but I'm all in. If I could get myself actually Jericho Kane will be doing some reviews of Vader Immortal for us. Yeah, if I could get my hands on that, I'd be all over it. But I can't.
These VR helmets, James, fit perfectly over glasses. Like
nice.
It pops out like this, and then you just suction cup it to your head.
Yeah, I did that. So that VR that I tried in New York in Manhattan was like 3 years ago. That was incredible, also. And that went right on your head too. Maybe it's the same one. It goes right on your head, and then it was just like a fantastic. And remember when we first started the podcast, I had the Google VR for my amazingly horrible Google phone. I used to love that. Was the only good thing about that phone, to be honest, was like the VR was phenomenal. Very limited though. I do regret not getting the Samsung phone for the VR, because they had way more options. But I watched a Star Wars virtual reality fan film on YouTube. I can't remember the name of it right now. Phenomenal. I mean, it was a fan film, so but it was just like the experience, like just phenomenal. Like, so I think it had a crawl, but you start off in space, and you hear the sound, and a Star Destroyer is coming from behind you, right? So you turn to the Star Destroyer, and then it passes you, and you can look at it up and down all around. And it was a fan film, and I was like, I want this in Star Wars. Like, I would, if they were like, if you buy this $500 headset or whatever, you can watch, Mandalorian in VR every week. I would be all in on that. All in. I'm looking at the chat.
Yeah, so am I.
What is happening right now? Oh my God, Andrew. Brock, you're also logged in as a Rebel Scum. Yeah. I was on there and I was like, who's been watching these strange videos on YouTube? I guess I know who it is.
Yeah, sorry. It's only when I'm at work. Was any of it about like projectors?
Yes, it was. I figured it was you based on what it was.
Yeah.
One time Rob was logged in and I was like, this is all Schmodown. By the way, Rob is in New York to watch the Schmodown live.
I don't pay attention to Twitter, but for some reason, I think how Twitter sends you emails, I guess, if you're not on it enough. It was sending me Rob's comments to what's his name, Christian Harloff, and just like the Schmodown and stuff, and I'm like, I guess Rob's going to one of those things.
He's in New York right now. I think the Schmodown's tomorrow. He's supposed to send me a link because apparently he wants. Oh, I shouldn't say that because I think it's Patreon exclusive. But he's apparently trying to get an aisle seat. So if you guys are Schmodown supporters, or I don't know, just look for him. Look for Rob. He'll be there. Darth Ward. Twitter is great. Jeff Wilson says, at Andrew was this post Fanny Awards party that I missed out on. Andrew's Fanny Awards are on YouTube as well. You can check those out where he ranks his movies, his 10 best movies of the year. And I think he has other things in there as well. Andrew, you could talk to the chat about that. Brock, how worried are you for Obi-Wan? Do you think we're still going to get the best Obi-Wan that we're possibly going to get? Or do you think there's a chance that it's in trouble?
No, I'm pretty optimistic because they gotta make content. Like is Marvel getting this much flack for stuff? Like they still haven't technically put anything out yet. I can't think. Like I'm super pumped for WandaVision, and in the last week they've been talking a lot about Winter Soldier and the Falcon, or Falcon and Winter Soldier, whatever the combination is. But like, are Marvel fans like harping on them at all because they haven't really gotten?
I think the Hawkeye one is the one that like it's canceled indefinitely. No, it's back. No, but Jeremy Brenner, right. But Jeremy Brenner's or Renner, what's his name? Jeremy Renner.
Yeah,
Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters. He's made 2 good movies, Wind River, and Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunter. He has some personal issues that I think he's working through right now, allegedly. So I think that's probably part of that. But
no, to go back to your question, it's like I'm not worried at all. I mean, they're gonna do something with Deborah Chow. Like she directed some of the best episodes, more or not best. I'm not quantifying like that. Fan favorite episodes. And everyone was like, "Wow, she's great." So they're gonna do something with her. If it's Obi Wan, great. If it's not, great. Like it's they got a new streaming service. They gotta get content out. Ooh. They have to make it happen. Like they're not churning out like cartoons or anything. I'm sure they will. I'm very excited for this Star Wars game show for kids. But you know what I mean? Like it's like if they shut down Obi Wan, they're gonna put something else in place. Like that, it's just logic. It's going to happen. It's just frustrating because the static is getting louder. 4. I don't know. I'm very optimistic. I'm just rambling at this point.
Are you staticky? What's going on? Who's staticky?
I think it's what you're sending me.
Ba 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 ba. Am I staticky?
Here, I'll mute myself and see what happens.
Okay, am I staticky? Everyone let me know if I am staticky. I'm using a new cable.
Like, it's just the static in the background. Are you still playing whatever the opening song was on?
No.
Like, where does it come from? Is that just on your computer?
No, it's done.
Because sometimes...
Oh, wait a minute. I think it's... Oh, my levels are going when I'm not talking.
So that's something in the background. Or something maybe coming...
Could be. I'm using a different cable. Because, it's always a good idea to use it. And my other cable's not here.
This is Tech Talk with Brock.
Is it bearable? Is it bearable? Hold on. Let's find out if it's bearable.
Did I fix it? Yes or no? Our new podcast.
Brock's staticky.
Getting staticky? Nah, man. Here, I'm muting myself. See me talking? Do you see me talking?
I'm just saying what they're saying right now. I'm talking right now. Okay, we're gonna figure this out. I'm gonna go on.
That's right, Mr. Rez. You thought it was me.
There's an ad. I'm gonna like the video. Like and subscribe, everybody. I'm just saying what they're saying right now. Oh, there's a set. It's definitely from mine. It's I'll have to figure this out before we record tomorrow, Brock. By the way, Brock and I are recording 152 tomorrow. Patreons will get that tomorrow or Sunday. Thank you, everybody, for being Patreon supporters. You guys mean a lot to us for supporting. And the ones that are here right now, thank you so much for checking us out as well. It means a lot to us doing that because we're just a couple of Star Wars fans talking Star Wars. By the way, there's only one way to get views on YouTube right now, and that's Ben Solo. So if I mention Ben Solo, that'll allow me to put that in the new title of this video. Which was, James sounds good. Thank you. That's just my natural bravado.
Nah, fam.
All Brock's fault as rural farm boy. Awesome. Awesome. What was I was gonna say something and now I completely forgot what to say. What?
Was it about Star Wars?
No, it was about Picard. Just to get rural farm boy off of my side. No, it was actually about this. I mentioned this to Andrew Fantasia earlier, and I wanted to know what you thought of this, Brock. Okay, you got Kathleen Kennedy. She's like, I'm Kathleen Kennedy. She's the Bob Iger of Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
And she's like, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Deborah Chow, and who directed the Egg episode?
I don't know.
Oh my God. Anyway, those four walk in. She calls them in her office. Yeah. And she's like, you four, go do Star Wars. I'm in. I'm like, give those 4 Star Wars. Because did I tell you what? Last Saturday I watched the Egg episode because I love the Egg episode. By the way, it might be my favorite TV show of all time. And I was like, I just want to watch the Egg episode. I watched the entire season, just the whole thing, start to end. It was just I got to the second last episode and Aaron was making Baby Yoda cookies, and I was just like, oh my god. She goes, what? I'm like, it's over. It's like I just watched the whole thing. So. Anyway, let me find out who that is. But so what would you think if all 4 of them were handed the reins to Star Wars? Like, so basically you have like Kathleen Kennedy's ahead, but Favreau, Filoni, and the other 2, and they rotate directing, but they're all in charge of the story and all that stuff.
I'm all game for it because what they put out was great so far on Mandalorian, right? But here's the other thing I want to put into place. Maybe Favreau's in it for the long run, but like you can't expect a director to want to stay in one thing and make one thing. I mean, you can give carte blanche and say you can do whatever you want in the Star Wars universe, but maybe you don't want to do that anymore. You know, maybe Taika Waititi, if you include him in there, he's like, well, I gotta go make another Jojo Rabbit, and this one it's called Peter Badger. It's his younger brother. like, I don't like tying down people like that, though I'm sure these people care about the project. So, but to give you an actual answer, like, yeah, that'd be awesome. Like, Favreau should be in charge of everything for Star Wars.
Rick Famuyiwa.
Oh, yes,
I can't pronounce names.
He was a X-Wing pilot.
Yeah, he was. But I just got a text from you. Ready. Taika Waititi would be dope too. Yeah, and I'm not saying there's other people that wouldn't be, but I just if you're like, okay, these are the 4, they're in charge of the next side of the next. The thing is, yeah, it's the Mandalorian's going on, Obi Wan Kenobi's going on. Where's their time dedicated to? Also, and Taika Waititi would be a lot of fun to do it. But then he has the Thor movie coming out. Like, when is this going to get made? Is this another Kevin Feige announcement? Where it's like, Kevin Feige is going to do Star Wars? Is he? Like, I don't want to know until it's done. But I feel like these 4 right now would be like these 4 are going to focus on the 2022, 2024, 2026. I would buy into that. I would believe it also. And I think they could do it. Whether or not they want to is another story, because I think Favreau, rightfully so, is in love with his Mandalorian show. Like, that's his baby. He's proud of it. And did you watch the panel at Celebration for Mandalorian?
Yeah, like bits and pieces. It was cool. And it's like, you think back to that and you're like, they were like so pumped because they knew what they were putting out, and you're like, oh yeah. So rewatching it, I didn't rewatch it. I was rethinking about it, and Jon Favreau always had like this smile through the whole thing, how proud he was, and he's like, "There's a lot in there for people who've been with this franchise for a long time." And I was like, "What does that mean?" It's like the whole time, like you're saying, they had Baby Yoda. Like, they all knew about Baby Yoda through that entire hour-long panel. Yeah.
It is like, son of a bitch. Like, you had that. At any time you lost anybody, you're just like, but check this out. And we would have like, whoa. Like, they had Baby, like, they're saying these things like, yeah, you're going to like it, you know, like, Grief Karg is kind of cool, and Cara Dune, and Baby Yoda is, I was talking to somebody today who hasn't seen Star Wars, I think, since like 1977. Knows Baby Yoda. Absolutely no. Like Baby Yoda transcends popularity. It's Baby Yoda is everywhere. It's when we go back in time and they make, you know, American Graffiti set in 2019. Baby Yoda will be at the forefront of that show, this movie.
Yeah. We were at the mall and we were in Urban Planet, which is a crappier version of Urban Outfitters, and they had a shirt of Baby Yoda. It was like the
Sunrise
drawing came out. Did you see that one?
Sunrise has a Baby Yoda shirt. I haven't seen the one you're talking about.
Sunrise. No, but yeah, it was that drawing. I think it was something that came out right after the first episode. I can't remember who drew it, but it was like, oh, that's cool. But you know, I think Funko's releasing a whole bunch of Baby Yoda. I don't know why I'm going on the Baby Yoda tangent, but like...
Baby Yoda, because Baby Yoda is amazing. I got the Incinerator Trooper. I want the Heavy Trooper as well, Funko Pops. We're on the Mandalorian now, but I think that the thing the thing that makes me confident in Obi Wan Kenobi is the Mandalorian.
Oh yeah.
Like they did that, and because you know how the Mandalorian succeeds, Brock? Do you know what caused that to succeed?
No, I do not.
It is because it was Jon Favreau wrote these scripts. He sent them to Filoni, and Filoni's like, "Oh yeah, but let's do this." And then they just worked on this script, and that was the focus, and that was their passion, and that's what they wanted to do. And they presented the scripts, and Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger were like, "Yeah, do it." And it was their baby, and they got to do what they wanted to do, and they put the care, time, and effort into making the show what they wanted to make it. Not all the episodes are the greatest episodes of all time. None of them are terrible, but you can tell there's a lot of love and care in there. And damn it, there is a freaking episode where the whole plot is him trying to get an egg, and I am obsessed with it. We have a super chat.
Yeah, I see that.
Do you want to read
From
it?
Jeff Wilson.
Good old Jeff.
Yes.
Jeff Wilson. Thank you, Jeff, for everything.
What if Jeff Wilson, our good friend, asks, "What if Lucas was asked to guest direct an episode of Kenobi? How would that be received? Would his style differ from when he last directed the prequel trilogy?" So I was like, Phantom Tennis. No, that's man, that's a good question. James, do you have something right away?
Yeah, I can go over that for sure. So there was rumors that he was going to do an episode of The Mandalorian. Obviously, that was not the case. I think when George Lucas first sold to Disney, and I don't think this is all in Iger's book. Iger wanted possession of Lucasfilm, and he didn't want Lucas hovering over what he didn't own anymore. And I think enough time has gone now, and I think Disney has learned that Star Wars while a lot of Star Wars fans are the absolute best, we just talked about earlier, a lot of them are the absolute worst. I think George Lucas learned that the hard way in the prequels, and Disney learned that again. And I think the dust has settled now, and Disney has, there's two sides to this, but Disney has kind of, I think they're comfortable in their Star Wars now, because of The Mandalorian more so than the sequel trilogy, I would say. Because the sequel trilogy, again, was, I think, them trying to branch off from Lucas Star Wars, but kind of dipping their toe in there still. Like, they weren't fully out. But with The Mandalorian now, they're pretty much out. And then if it's High Republic in 2022 or whatever, they can completely remove themselves from it. Obi-Wan...
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, look, and then with the Solo fiasco, when all that happened, George Lucas directed a scene for Ron Howard in Solo.
Okay.
And now that might be mostly because of Ron Howard, his relationship with him, but it also shows that there was an extra step taken with this whole new regime in George Lucas, where they're like, okay, you can come back, and you could sprinkle in your magic and touch in it. And I think Obi-Wan Kenobi is a character that he created through and through, aside from the Clone Wars, and for the most part he was, I mean, except for season 7, I guess, it's still him. Obi-Wan Kenobi has always been told through George Lucas's eyes.
Yeah,
you know?
That's true.
And I think if he was willing to do it, he might not want to, but if he was willing to do it, I think respectfully, I think Disney now, Lucasfilm now would, for sure. And I think it would be received very well, because I also think the other thing too is Deborah Chow is directing every single episode of Kenobi, so it won't happen, but if she was like, you want to come in and do episode 3 or 4, and he's like, yeah, why not, he would I think because he's the producer that he is, more so than the director, right, he would still do it in the style that Deborah Chow had that series going through, so you wouldn't even notice that it was George Lucas. But I think out of respect, it would be received very well, and I think it would actually be very good on Lucasfilm and Disney to have something like that happen in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think like George Lucas doing anything with Star Wars is something they got to keep in their back pocket for the next couple of years, because it's just sort of like, oh, by the way, here's a new thing from George Lucas after 30 years maybe, or however it's long, like definitely 20, right? Well, like, I think I don't know if Obi-Wan's the right place. I agree with you. It's like only really been told through his, like, if he's gonna do Obi-Wan, he has to do the whole thing, I think. You know what I mean?
And it's already Deborah Chow.
Directing. So. Exactly. I would give him some kind of film that could be put on there.
This is where I think the film, though, I don't think they would let him do that.
Like a film on Disney Plus, though.
Oh, okay.
Which I know they said they wouldn't really do that, but whatever. Rules can be broken. I think it's to go back to Jeff's question, how would it be received? I think that's just a moneymaker right there. They're like, it's like, oh, did you not like the new Star Wars? Well, guess what? Grandpa's back. that's how you market the whole movie, and you're like, oh, George Lucas, oh boy, you know. Like, and I think his style would definitely be different because I think you direct or create dependent on it, like who you are at the time affects how you do it. So like the George Lucas of the original trilogy, I don't know if he was married. Maybe I don't know. I don't know his whole history. I know there's a indie film about him being in love, but
that's a good movie. But I own it on iTunes, and I love it. George Lucas in love.
Like George Lucas, the director of the original trilogy, he's the rebel. He's like the new hothead. He's like, oh, he's gonna change how things work. And then, you get to the prequels where he's been known as George Lucas, like one of the biggest directors or like innovators in film in the last like 40 years or 30 years, maybe 20 years, whatever it was. That changes you, right? You're like, well, people like what I do, so I'm just going to do what I like to do. So perhaps after this, having sold Star Wars, like now he's like, well, I can see people do good things with what I've created. Maybe that's humbling. So like that's how I think it'll change. Plus how old is he now? He's in his 70s, right?
Yeah, he's up there. I don't know how old he is.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's like it'll be like Star Wars, but like The Irishman, where you're like, this is like, oh, this feels like Scorsese, but with old people.
Oh, The Irishman. Whatever. Oh, we got another super chat.
Ooh.
You want to read this one?
Yeah, Miss Kondik asks, would people love Force Strong Baby Luke as much as Force Strong Sweet Pea, aka
She's
Baby
going
Yoda?
with the girls with sabers named Sweet Pea.
His name is Kevin.
I call him anyway.
John
Pierre Saint Jean.
John St. John.
Jean Saint Pierre. Jean Saint Pierre. Force strong, not force strict. You were good on that. George is now the chosen one to once again unite fans over one directing job. Yeah. Wait, before we get into the misconduct question, I will say I think Four Leaf Clover brought up that the Lucasfilm PR is kind of a nightmare at this point. They need to figure that out, and then we'll get to it. But anyway, on to this one. Yeah, Brock, you want to take this one first? Or you want me to go?
I'll go. I think the comparison is more, will Luke be like Anakin? I mean, I get the comparison he's creating because it's the cutesy character right now. I think Baby Yoda is cute because he doesn't really talk and he's a puppet. I feel like Luke will just be a precocious kid, like he's Macaulay Culkin in the first Home Alone, but not the second one. No, that's exactly the same character. As much as it would be fun to have a young Luke Skywalker, I don't want him to be the focus. I mean, obviously, one of the reasons Obi Wan's on Tatooine is for Luke, and I've said it before years ago on this podcast. They did little vignettes during the Star Wars comic about like Luke finds Obi-Wan's journal about what life was like on Tatooine, and it's next level. And like Luke's not really a main character in it. It's more Obi-Wan and Uncle Ben not getting along, and it's just like, make that movie, make it now, or series, I guess. So I don't think there'll be I don't know. I mean, we need to learn more about Baby Yoda post haste. But I feel like Luke is going to be more like Anakin, where he's up to hijinks and he's flying stuff and bullseyeing womp rats and what is it?
It's an interesting question because Baby Yoda is also a puppet.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I always go back to I think I brought this up with the Sonic the Hedgehog original design. Is South Park, when they were talking about the South Park creators were talking about creating those cutout cartoons are like, you know what, they can look as crude as they want, but if you give them those big eyes, people are drawn to big eyes and love big eyes. And Baby Yoda has massive, cute eyes, right? Like they're just
That's why he's memeing right now, man.
Yeah, it's just the eyes. Like the eyes are massive and they're like Bambi eyes, and you're just like, well, he's adorable. And Luke Skywalker will be played by a human being who will inevitably not have massive Bambi eyes. But there's another element to Luke. If they cast a cute little kid, I don't think they'll be drawn to. He won't have the innocence of Baby Yoda. That's the other thing, because Baby Yoda is a baby who walks, right? Yeah. A baby, 2-year-old sure walks, but Baby Yoda almost is like more confident. You know what I mean? Like a Baby Yoda reminds me more of my pet rabbit than a child. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like my rabbit can walk around, is just innocent, has big, giant, cute eyes, and was like, I didn't do it, but knows what it's like. Yeah. But I think there is a way that they could pull off a young Luke Skywalker. He won't be memed as much, but I think there is a way to pull off a young Luke. The question is, do you want to do that with a character who becomes Luke Skywalker? Like, do you make him this cute little character? I think the less Luke we get, the better in a lot of ways. I mean, it doesn't look like they're doing that. But and Ewan McGregor said he thought the scripts are great, so whatever they're doing, keep doing it, I guess. But so I'm gonna say, people will love Luke maybe as young baby Luke as much as Baby Yoda. I think it'll be a different type. It won't be an obsession necessarily.
Yeah.
Like, would you put Macaulay Culkin's, like young Macaulay Culkin, Uncle Buck Macaulay Culkin's face on a shirt? You know what I mean? Like, that'd be weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like now it wouldn't, because it's a throwback. But at the time, I don't know if any adults would be like, I need to get that Macaulay Culkin's face on my shirt. But Baby Yoda's a puppet. Do the hand waving thing, kid. And then he waves. It's like, God damn it, this show. Like the whole time at Celebration, they had that in their back pocket.
Yeah, the whole time.
The whole time. Like, like now when you sit back and watch it, you're like, in the back of their minds, all they're thinking is Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda.
Yeah. What I really think we need to focus on is, could we meet young Biggs Darklighter? Because we're on Tatooine. We go to Tashi Station. Like, he has a mustache, even though he's probably gonna be like a preteen. It'd be great.
Well, do you think? Do you think we would get prequel era aliens like Toydarians, like Watto? You think Watto or something could appear in the Obi Wan series? Do you think they would do something like that?
I think that would be nice. It would be a nice touch. I think I don't even think I worry too much about story with this possible show. I just want, this is an opportunity to bring back characters or actors that we're not going to be able to bring back ever again. Like, I know Anakin is technically Vader at this point, but he could somehow have flashbacks with Hayden Christensen. That would be fantastic. Or just some kind of like memory, or well, I guess it's a flashback. Or like he's haunted by some ghost, but he's not a ghost. He's just like his conscience or something like that. That would be great. You could put Jar Jar in this. I was thinking about it earlier today. You could get Dexter Jettster in there.
Yes, that would make sense too.
Yeah. So like Watto, like somehow because I don't think Obi-Wan ever meets Watto.
No, they have no interaction.
No, because he's not there when they go back either, right? So like, just how they would be great. It would be so great.
Yeah,
you could use Watto to like give you Obi-Wan, give Obi-Wan a way to learn more about Anakin's background. I mean, I mean, maybe that's not interesting because Obi-Wan and Anakin spend a lot of time together. He probably knows everything about it, but like, if he could like piece together the history of young Anakin and Shmi Skywalker on Tatooine, oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities with this show. I think it's in good hands with Deborah Chow and Ewan McGregor. Maybe Joel Edgerton comes back to play Uncle Owen. That would be fantastic. There's rumors of Ahmed Best coming back to play, or anyway, Jar Jar being in it to some capacity. There's a lot of rumors going on. I mean, if the scripts aren't the scripts, these rumors mean nothing, but there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of ways to tell fun stories. And again, I mean, you treat this like you treat the EU, but in a more glue type of way, instead of just telling a story for the sake of it. Now this is part of that world, this universe now. A little bit more. And we'll talk about canon in future episodes and whatnot, because I think there is a problem with canon where when you try to connect too much, you start to lose out on, and like you just start to lose aspects of certain things. I find have your plan first and figure it out from there.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I think we should wrap this up. We've been going for over an hour now. It's been an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun, Brock.
Yeah, I hope no one was annoyed by the
buzzing
angle of my camera and I've been
you're on a boat. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, because I am tethering from my phone, and it's saying that it's completely perfect, like the internet's perfect on my end. As well, Skype or OBS is saying it's perfect on my end. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but we can hear you regardless.
To go back to Ben Solo, do you remember the Trololo guy? That guy that came out. Trololo.
Oh yes.
So now we get a shirt, and it's that dude, and on it just says Ben Solo lo. That is how we get the views. Ben Solo.
Ben.
Ben Solo. You know that character that's in the movie for like what 40 minutes? He's trending.
You know what though? I would get a Ben Solo Funko Pop.
Yes. Oh yeah, I wanted to bring that up. Yeah, I totally see that coming out.
Oh yeah.
That's exciting because it's just him in like a black Gap sweater.
Yeah.
What would it be? Like you can't
blue lightsaber.
Yeah. Is he reaching behind?
No, it's Funko. He'd just be like this. You can't see me. He'd just be holding his arm out. He'd be doing the Han Solo like, it's me. He'd be doing like that pose, holding it, and everybody would be like, I need that now, and it would sell out in 2 seconds. Benny Ben. Ben Swallow. It's just a topless. It's just a topless Ben Solo. I told you I have that light up Kylo Ren Funko. It's too far to reach, and I dropped it in the box, and it lit and made the sound. I was like, that's really cool. Yeah. So I can't wait to get that out of the box. Although now I'm scared because I drop a lot of them when out of the box. So. Old Navy Henley Ben Solo Black Series in Good Boy Sweater exclusive Target edition. No Target exclusives. We don't like that here.
And the sweater's flocked.
Oh my god. Flocked the sweater. Oh man, that is awesome. All right, let's say goodbye, Brock. I'm going to play the Aaron's outro, so just don't talk, okay?
Don't speak.
I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know the words. All right, Brock, thanks for joining me. This is the way.
Hey scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.